Makhosi emakhosi amakhulu indlondlo ezinhle eyishwingshwang zomoya bomavula kuvaliwe babona la singaboni khona. Sikhulekile emakhosini bogogo nabomkhulu ngoba ngicabangile ukuthi today there has to be a way in which we actually engage in this conversation. We need to set a tone for this conversation because we're speaking about the psychology of ubungoma. We're speaking about the psychological impacts of ubungoma. We're speaking about how to get yourself ready towards your process of initiation. But we're also going to be speaking and understanding how does that connect to our higher self and how us and our ancestors are one. So I thought let me open with this song because right now we are not wanting to only tap into our understanding and our intel, but we're wanting to tap into the understanding of our ancestors and spiritually actually journey with you in understanding who you truly are and why you are called at these times and how to get yourself ready, how to get yourself geared up. And of course, I'm going to be having a conversation with one incredible, phenomenal woman. Black women rock, black men rock, black identity rocks, guys. I'm going to be having a conversation with a clinical psychologist, Ugogo Masego, who is a psychologist and an initiated Sangoma. And that's what I like about this conversation because she understands both worlds. Because she has traveled on those two worlds and has found a way to match the two realities. So the conversation is about that. People are saying I'm glowing. It's the song, guys. It's like when I hear music, it brings the glow. And I think so we actually tuned in and having this conversation. I'm sitting in Abokoko's room, Amatwasa. I don't like the word Twasa, you know. I don't resonate with it. When I was in training, Michael Bella never referred to me as a Twasa. We always referred to me as Gok and Kulu. And you need to understand the associations of that title was the elder, the wise one. So, you know, she worked with us as people already who had an inner knowing. And her work was to cultivate the inner knowing that we carried as her initiate. So I revere the woman that trained me. I respect Leanne Ndlovukazi because I am in Ndlovukazi Ngamhlanje because of what she was able to invest in me as an initiate during my time of initiation and still invest in me in other ways because spiritually I'm forever connected to her. My ancestors and her are interconnected. So in what I do, as I grow in my work, she grows in her glory. So that's what it's about. So I'm going to go straight and find Ukoko because I saw her that she's online now. Ukoko Vela. So we're going to be having a very interesting conversation. And thank you to the Gogos in this space. Thank you to Mkulu M, Kulum Casher, for the music. Togoza Gog.
Togoza Gog.
I wanted to open with song because there's something that music does to also our psychology. It helps us tune in into a world that in the physical we are unable to, but allows us. And when I was speaking to you earlier on, through you, and I said I want to actually propel his presence to be present with us in this conversation so that it's not only what you've learned in the classroom, but you're going to be opening archive information from your ancestors so this conversation can be enriching.
Thokoza Gog. Ngiyabonga ukuthi ngibelana. Ulivusile ngempela lale khehla. Selifuna ukugiya nalo.
I'm glad that because I want you and your entourage of ancestors because I understand Gucci, your people called you and chose you because they understood that in the work that you're doing, you're going to be giving us gems for us to truly embrace ourselves because the whole concept of Ubungoma, it's actually understanding and embracing who we are and what we have come to be for this world because we are many of us who are souls, but why did our souls choose to come at this time and possess in a body that takes a form of a black identity? So I want us to begin this conversation, Gogo, by you explaining who are we, you know, how does psychology understand us before we can speak about the psychology of Ubungoma?
Like Ushilo, I was trained in two psychologies, the Western one and the African one. So yes, these psychology, the Western one will tell you what a person has a mind, has a body. Yes, it doesn't say much about the soul, but it will then say the mind has the conscious mind, what is available to you all the time, and the subconscious, so stuff that is in the subconscious can easily come into your consciousness. And this is what we work with as psychologists most of the time. We work mostly with what people are aware of.
Yeah.
Or something that has been repressed or forgotten, not necessarily repressed, sometimes something that has been forgotten, which is there in the subconscious and continues to control a person's behavior unaware. So my work as a psychologist to help them be aware of what is in their subconscious and their conscious, to understand their own behaviors, and so that they can change whatever behaviors that they do not like, or make sense of what they are going through, of their own experiences.
That's great, Gogo. And your patients are sending you some love. They say, my doctor. So it's good to have people who you've also worked with just come here and also attest to the magnificent work that you're doing. You know, as a spiritual healer, I understand my gift. I understand my mastery, but I also understand my limitations. And that's why I want to engage with people who can actually add value to my tools. So as I'm helping a human come to a sense of wholeness through African healing practices, I can gather multiple tools, because in what you've said, it just shows how complex we are as a human, because we tend to also with human beings, we tend to think we are just this body that we are seeing, because human beings in their conscious psychology always want to work with something tangible, something practical, something they can see, something that can be proven, because we, as we have been growing up, you know, the psychology or the messages that are being fed into our minds or belief systems have always been to feed the cognitive, because the cognitive then makes things make logical sense and we can rationalize things. But then Dlozi happens. And when it happens, and the interesting thing, what I'm seeing and what I'm realizing is the connection between psychology and spiritual awakening, because something awakens in our psychology that we're needing to be aware of, that if we are not aware of it, so if we are not aware of what is awakening in us, then we experience psychological disorders, where we come to you to make us aware of what is actually going on with us, because it might not be an imbalance, it might be an awakening. So let's speak about that awakening process, where one now awakens to their subconscious, which is connected to amadlozi, izinyanya zagubo, for one to then go and, because I always say a calling is to actually embrace yourself as is, and why you have come on this planet at this time.
The awakening, is this what you're asking me to talk about?
Yes, Gogo.
Yes. So before I can do that, I want to explain how Africans understand lento kuthiwa umuntu.
Yes.
So that you can understand your interrelatedness with amadlozi wakho and the animals and the plants, all beings. So at the core of our beliefs as Africans is that there is God. So God is the creator, and God created these other souls when God created himself. Because all souls are part of God. Right? So then we have Idlozi, right? So Idlozi will be those departed chosen ones, those who did the work and transcended beyond the physical realm into the spiritual realm. When they go into the spirit world, but transcended already, and they have a purpose to help those who are still in flesh and blood. Okay? And those are the ones who become our guides and whatever. And then another important belief in our spirituality, in our philosophy, is that there's an interconnection between all life forms, that is animals, plants, and everything. So which means the soul, before it what's the word? Ingena emzimbeni, right? This physical body, it has existed long before izongena. And when I die, that means my body will be separated from my mind, soul, and the self. Isithunzi sami. So the body will be separated from that. And this is the part as we continue. My body, mind, and the self. And this is what you will see. Makuthi umuntu ushone kodwa isithunzi sakhe siyabonakala. And uzothi wena ungakazi umbona ukhokho wakho and uphuphe ngaye, or umbone because you are clairvoyant. When you tell them, but I saw this person, he appeared to me, but lo muntu kwakukhokho, and then they show a picture. Yes, this is exactly. So this person visits you because ukule sithunzi sakhe. And isithunzi carry what? It carries the personality. A personality that was formed after the child was born. When you are born, you don't have isithunzi. You don't have the self, but the self will be created by your own experiences. Your life experiences will shape the self, and people around you will influence that self.
Yeah.
And the self, we are so conscious of this self. What we are not conscious of is the higher self.
Great.
Stuff that is in the unconscious. So makuvuka idlozi, ukamuka the real you, stuff that is buried in your unconscious. The all-knowing, that part of you that exists in a multi-dimensional realm, that part of you that exists in the past, present, and future. And therefore, this part of you knows what is going to happen to you tomorrow, or next week, or 10 years' time, because it exists there. But even though it is there, it is accessible to you, it is not readily accessible. Therefore, mawuthwasa, when your spirit is awakening, so that part of you, iyavuka, iyaphakama, it comes to the conscious.
Wow.
And this is when kuba ne disturbance in the person's personality and the behavior and thoughts. So when that process of transitioning happens, because uktwasa is a process of cancer. It's because of the negative connotation that it has been assigned to. But uktwasa is that person who is going through this process of ukutwasa. And yes, ukobela wako was so right. You already possess this knowledge. It's already in you. So they have to be respected. They don't have to be abused. You know? You are young in this lifetime, your body and everything.